Hello everyone and welcome to another video on the channel and another episode of the Watch Pile. I think it's episode 27 this week, so getting through them. And for once I might actually remember what everyone picked, which would make a nice change. So we've got 9 titles that were chosen this week. Mix again. So yeah, I've still got 2 from last week. I need to watch League of Their Own and The Man in the Iron Mask, which I'll watch over the next few days before I start on any of these. Obviously after I watch one of these. But I was going to say I might do what I did last week and watch 2, but it's 6 o'clock now. I'll probably just stick with 1 tonight and get an earlier night in, unlike last week. So yeah, anyways, enough waffling on. I'll get on with what's been voted for this week. First off, we have a horror classic that I've heard only good things about, and it's the original Amityville Horror, which I believe Giz picked, and it stars James Brolin, Margot Kidder, and Rod Steiger. Paranormal horror film, like those sorts of horror films, bit like The Conjuring, that sort of thing. So yeah, good pick there, Giz. Next up, we have Ash's pick, which is one, I think it was him that recommended it. Him and Sam, I think, recommended this one. And apparently it's quite a hard watch, but I'm really interested to check it out. It's called Compliance. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but the guys have talked about it in the group, so I just decided to pick it up. So yep, I'll definitely be giving that one a go. Be interesting watch for sure. Compliance. Next up we have Paul's pick for the week, and it's a DVD, and it's called Thanks for Sharing, which looks right up my street. I love these sorts of films. Everyone knows I love these sorts of films. Feel good comedy. We've got a good cast as well. Mark Ruffalo, Tim Robbins, Gwyneth Paltrow, Josh Gad, Jolie Richardson, Carol Kane, Pink, who's down there. Executive produced by Edward Norton as well. So yeah, I'm a sucker for these kinds of films, so good choice there. Next up we have Lisa's pick, and Lisa has gone for Sound of Metal, Riz Ahmed, Olivia Cook. I think it's about a drummer who is going deaf, and trying to get over that, overcome that, should I say, and carry on performing. Had a lot of buzz when it came out, and it's one I picked up a long time ago now. I've just, for some reason, not watched it yet. So, yeah, that's one I look forward to checking out, Sound of Metal. Next up, we have Pete Pedro's Movie Caverns pick, and he's gone for a classic that I'm sure I'll enjoy. The original Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero's Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, I've seen the Zack Snyder remake, which I quite enjoy. I've heard this is different, obviously, but it'll be the same sort of kind of overall thing, I guess. Zombies. So yeah, that's one that I think is a blind spot in my watching. So be looking forward to checking that one out as well. Dawn of the Dead. Next up we have Tom 180's pick, and he has gone for another classic in Flashdance, another one that's been in my collection for a while, 80s classic, directed by Adrian Lin, who's probably more known for doing Fatal Attraction, but yeah, and he did Indecent Proposal as well, didn't he? Like that film. Yeah, but it's a music type film about, I think she's works at what is it? She's a welder, that's it. And then she's an exotic dancer at night, so could be a good one. Flashdance. Next up we have Roy's choice. I have a feeling I will like this one. It's got a great cast. I like the director, especially the film that's mentioned on the front cover. It's a love story, so I think it's a pretty safe one, I want to say. It's a film called The End of the Affair, which is a Neil Jordan film, who, as you can see, directed The Crying Game, which is a superb film. Love that film. You got Julianne Moore, Ray Fiennes, Stephen Rea, obviously, who was in The Crying Game, Ian Hart, Jason Isaacs. So yeah, it's a love story of sorts, like a forbidden love story type thing, I think. So yeah, definitely interested to check this one out. Looks like another one that could be right up my street. Next up is Angelo's pick over at Napang Films. He did say something, I think he went with the Amityville Horror as well, but he then also mentioned Police Academy, but he was like, oh, there's lots of those, like 4 or 5, and I said, you know, I'll chuck the second one in, because I've seen the first one, I've not gone past the first one, so quite like to check the second one out, so I'll put that down as his, so I hope that's alright, I hope you're alright with me choosing that. So yeah, Police Academy, love the first one, I think it's hilarious. I do hear they do diminish in quality, especially the later ones, but still want to give them all a watch. So yeah, Police Academy 2, their first assignment. And then one that Sam mentioned on the stream last night, that he wants to pick for this week, and it's Amelie, um, Audrey Tautou, Jean-Pierre Junot film. Um, yeah, I haven't seen that many French films. I know Roy's a French connoisseur, so I know he's definitely seen this one. And Sam said it's kind of like a Wes Anderson style, like the color grading as well. So that makes me even more interested. Yeah, this is going to be good. I know that. So Amelie, which is the last pick. Now, I'll go through what I'm going to do. Amelie, I got to obviously take the slipcover off, and that one's ready. Police Academy, because the case is too thin, I'm going to use Little Big Man instead. So if that's chosen, it's Police Academy 2. End of the Affair, I'm going to use Kingdom of Heaven. Flashdance, I just got to take out of the case. Dawn of the Dead, I'm going to use The Aftermath. Sound of Metal's alright. And then, Thanks for Sharing, I'm going to use Supergirl in its place, and then Compliance is fine. And Amityville Horror just needs to come out of its case. So, they should all be good now. So, let's get shuffling. Make it fair. I don't want to make anything. Give it a good shuffle. And let's go for this one. And it is... oh, Compliance. So Ash's pick of Compliance is what I will be given a watch tonight. Yeah, probably going to be a bit of a heavy one, but it's only an hour and a half, so if it is one that I'm left feeling quite at the end, I'll probably just stick something on YouTube just to like, because there's sometimes I do watch films, and if they affect me quite a bit, not necessarily scare me, but if they're quite, like I've heard this one is, I just need something easy to watch before I go to bed after. But yeah, like I said, it's only an hour and a half, so it should be a pretty quick and easy watch. So yeah, Compliance will be my watch for today. So well done, Ash, you got the pick. But like I said, I will try and get through the rest of them in the next week or so. As I said, I'm a bit behind from last week because so many were picked last week and I didn't have as much time last week. So still got a few to watch from there. But yep, so I will stick Compliance on in a minute, and I'll come back to you once I've seen it and let you know my thoughts. So I just got done watching Compliance, and wow, it's not very often I watch a film and I'm just completely lost for words. It was, yeah, that was somewhat, I'll talk about non-spoilers first, won't talk about spoilers first, but it's a film I do think it's hard to discuss and give real thoughts without going into a bit of depth about it. So yeah, I'll just go my brief thoughts of the film first, and then I'll go into it a little bit deeper. So you might want to skip that bit if you don't want any spoilers. But yeah, this film was just, it was something. I mean, it's based on a true story of multiple events that have happened, and you can tell that they definitely have happened. It's just shocking, really, that this has actually happened in real life, to the exact same degree as what is shown in this film. It's I think lots of emotions. I felt angry, quite a lot through the film. It does make you feel angry. makes you feel stressed because it's a very tense 90 minutes. Um, just, yeah, you feel a lot of different emotions when you watch this film. All about, as the title suggests, compliance, and it has a little message at the start, basically talking about the Milgram experiment, which was a big experiment in the 70s that was done at a big university. Basically, where a group of students took part and they were basically told to follow a certain amount of instructions from these authority figures. And this, what it's about, is basically about what people do when they're being told to do things by people they believe to be in more authority than them. And in this is how far it goes and what happens to the degree it happens, and it's just quite honestly just shocking, disgusting as well that this happens, probably still happens now, and it's just disgusting that people can get away with doing this sort of thing. I will say Anne Dowd was absolutely excellent in this. She's quite a underrated actress, I think, and I do enjoy when she pops up in the things. But this is probably the best film I've seen her in, to be honest, best role she's done. Bill Camp, who's always great character actor, Bill Camp. He's really good in this. I think got quite a difficult role to get involved in, but I think he handles it very well, shall I say. But yeah, it's a very hard watch. It's a very uncomfortable watch, but it's also a very important watch, I think, because it is eye opening. I think it does really open your eyes up to this sort of thing, to make you realize, because I don't know if a lot of people know what actually goes on, the things that go on like this in the world, because it's seriously shocking. It's just, and the lengths that this goes to was just unbelievable. So yeah, those are like my non-spoiler thoughts on it. So I am gonna give like some more in-depth spoiler thoughts on specifics about the story mainly. And yeah, so if you don't want to know anything about the story and specifics about where the story goes, then I say skip now. Once I put this down, so you'll see that I'm no longer holding it. That's when I've stopped talking about it, because I'll be going on to next week's picks then. So yeah, I'll give you a few seconds now to pause it, to skip it, whilst I talk about spoilers. So yeah, basically it's set around, I think it's like a fictional fast food chain in America, this one branch of this fast food chain. And the film starts, you've got the manager played by Anne Dowd, who has basically been, there's this delivery guy who's having a go at her because a lot of stock that was delivered previously had gone to waste because the freezer door wasn't shut properly, and he's taken out on her, and she's obviously a bit pissed off because one of her employees has probably done this carelessly. So it then starts, you meet all of the employees, including our lead character, Becky, who's a very young employee. I believe she's 19. And you see her interaction with all of her colleagues and with Sandra, and they all seem to get on really well. All seem to respect Sandra to a point. And then all of a sudden, Sandra gets a phone call from a man who she believes to be a police officer, telling her that Becky has stolen some money from a lady's purse. He says that she's got the witness there and her regional manager, who's also on the line, and that she needs to go and get Becky to basically question her to find out if she's stolen this money, which she obviously does. She goes and gets Becky, and takes her into like the office. There's a lot of traversing over the phone, asking questions, and it goes further. The officer then goes further to say that she needs to strip search her to make sure she's definitely not hiding anything from her, and then he wants her to put her clothes in a bag and put them in her car so they can get collected. It goes crazy. At this point, around this point, you then find out that the guy on the phone isn't who he says he is. He isn't a police officer. He's just a sick individual at home that's just decided to call the store, the branch, as a prank to do this. And it just goes further and further. You get I think it gets even more sicker when Bill Camp's character, who is Andow's character's partner, comes in to watch her, and he's on the phone with this police officer, and he starts to ask him to do things that you can see he's uncomfortable with, but he does it because compliance, because he believes, which I think any normal person would, that if he doesn't do what this police officer says he's going to do, he's going to get in trouble himself. Because again, that authority sense, you do, the more you're talking to them, the more they demand it, the more they tell you to do it, the more you feel that you have to do it, no matter how uncomfortable, how bad it is. And there are some things that happen that are absolutely disgusting, that, as it says at the start, nothing's exaggerated. Everything that happened in this film actually happened, and it makes you feel even worse. And eventually, obviously, they find out at the end that he was a prank caller. He hangs up, and they then deal with the consequences, which are unfortunate because it could have very easily been avoided. It poses the question, who does the blame get put on? Should the blame get put on Sandra for letting it go as far as it did and not checking properly? They say the police station's less than half a mile away. Why did she never check? Why didn't she double check the details of this officer? Why didn't she check with her area regional manager? Because he was on the other line, which that's how she finds out eventually that he's lying. But then again, can you really put the blame on her? Because she was being told, he's basically told her he's a police officer, he needs her to do this, and she listens to people in authority. Becky's listening to her because she's her manager, and she's been told by the police that she needs to do this. And so you kind of, it's hard. I mean, can you fully put the blame on Sandra, or do you just put it on this guy that's prank called, asked, a horrible human being? Yeah, it's one that makes you think, one that you've got to really sit, watch, take in, I think. But a brilliant film, I would say. Albeit hard watch for definite. I'm glad that Ash recommended this and Sam as well, because yeah, really enjoyed this one. And yeah, we'll be keeping this in the collection, so thank you for that recommendation, both. Yeah, just, I don't know how I'd never heard of this sort of stuff going on, but the more you think of it, the more you think it probably still goes on nowadays, and it's disgusting. But yeah, that's enough talking of that. Going on for 10 minutes now. That is Compliance. So we are now back onto shelf. So here we go, up here. So in the Western set, the Wild Bunch is obviously excluded now. It's just Predators and the Predator trilogy I've got to watch now. Bridge to Terabithia is a rewatch, as is The Tooth Fairy. Christmas Star is excluded because I'm not watching a Christmas film. The Muppets, the original film, is excluded, and I'm not watching the Christmas one because it's not Christmas. Old Boy's excluded from the Vengeance trilogy set. That German one's called Let It Ride with Richard Dreyfuss. Trespass Against Us would be a rewatch. Mindhorn would also be a rewatch. And the original Planet of the Apes is excluded because I have seen that now. Rebel Without a Cause is excluded because I've seen that. I believe it might have even been on one of these videos. Wall Street Money Never Sleeps is excluded, as I haven't seen the original yet. This German one is Ordinary People, the Robert Redford film. Alien Romulus is excluded because I would like to watch, is it Resurrection first? And Final Destination 5 is obviously excluded because I haven't seen 2 yet, 3 or 4. Funny Cow's a rewatch. In the Batman set, it's just Batman and Robin. Scott Pilgrim's a rewatch. The original Spider-Man's excluded, so it'd be Spider-Man 2. Both the Amazing Spider-Man films are rewatches, as are the Fantastic Four films and Night and Day. And for Fast and Furious, I would probably go back to the original, which would be a rewatch, but I haven't seen 2, 3 or 4 before. Those are the titles that you have to choose from for the next video. Got another week this time, so giving you plenty of time, unlike last week, to select what you want me to watch for the next video and talk about. Really good choice this week, I think. So thank you, Ash. As I said at the start of the video, I will try and get as many of those watched sort of for Sunday, so I can talk about them in my weekly watches. Definitely get the 2 that carried over from last week watched over the next few days. And like I said, I'll get as many of the other ones from this week watched by Sunday, so I can talk about them and give you my thoughts of them in this week's weekly watches. So yeah, that is it for this video. If you've seen Compliance, let me know what you thought of it down below in the comments. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. Turn your notification bell on so you know when I have a new video uploaded to the channel. Comment down below anything and everything. As you know, I always take the time to get back to anyone that leaves me a comment because I really do appreciate it. And that is it. So until next time, everyone, take care. Goodbye.